Hi. The Basilisk self-propelled artillery piece is the standard heavy artillery cannon for the forces of the Astra Militarum, but is by no means the only self-propelled gun that's been manufactured by humanity in the 41st and early 42nd millennium. During the Sabbat World's Crusade, the Imperial forces faced the forces of the Blood Pact that were equipped with the Usurper pattern self-propelled gun. And in this video, I'm going to be scratch building a representation of that particular artillery piece. The first issue was to determine what the Usurper was going to look like. And in that respect, I was fortunate because certain online resources suggest that when Dan Abnett was writing his books, he was basing that vehicle off the old M7 Priest self-propelled gun from World War II. And that looked like this. So I need to create a vehicle that is a hybrid of this Second World War vintage artillery piece and this artillery piece from the 41st millennium. As usual, I started with a 1:1 scale sketch of what I want my model to look like, with both plan and side elevation views. And once I was happy with the two-dimensional appearance of this, I moved on to my three-dimensional card prototype. So I just bring in the picture of the priest again. You can see the vague resemblance, but once I was satisfied with my card prototype in 3 dimensions, I then moved on to making the actual model out of plasticard. And here is the basic core with the tracks included. I've not glued the tracks on because I think I'll want those mounted quite closely, so I'll want to paint the model before I fix the track sections on. But with this basic core completed, it's now time to add the details to this model. And here is the detailed Usurper self-propelled artillery gun. And I should point out that the track sections still aren't glued onto this model. That will be done after painting. And also the main gun itself is not yet glued on. That will also be glued on after this model is painted. And as ever, many of the details on this model are just pieces of plasticard cut to size and shape. I've also got some washers on the track sections to represent where wheels would be connected behind this armour plate. And because the vehicle is open-topped, I have detailed the interior somewhat, and I've used some car body mesh to provide a pattern to the internal floor. Now this ring section here is just a piece of plastic pipe, but other than that, everywhere where you can see grey plastic, that is a spare part from one Games Workshop kit or another. Now, in addition to detailing this model, I have also created a small crew that I'm going to stick in. And these are torsos and legs taken from the Imperial tank accessory sprue, with arms and heads largely taken from the Chaos Blooded squad set. This gunner here, he also uses arms from the Imperial tank accessory sprue because they will match with the heavy stubber, and his armoured shoulder pauldrons are taken from Kroot. But now, with the crew ready and the vehicle detailed, this model is ready to be painted. And finally, here we have the completed and painted Usurper self-propelled gun with all the various parts now glued in place. And of course we have the commanding officer in the pintle-mounted heavy stubber position, and a 2-man gun crew down here to operate the main weapon system. And if I just bring in the Imperial Basilisk, you can see the 2 roughly equivalent vehicles side by side. You'll see I've shortened the barrel of the Earthshaker cannon on the Usurper slightly. That's because this was described in some material as a crude copy of the Earthshaker, so I've chosen to make it a bit shorter to suggest it's not designed for engaging at quite the same ranges as the gun on the Basilisk is. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this latest look at the vehicles of the Sabbat World's Crusade, and thanks for watching. Bye.